For as long as we have existed, humans have always looked to the stars for answers. As we have wished many times over, we hoped that one day we'd be part of the stars. And look at us now. We are. This may be my last message to you all, as I do not know how far I will travel this time. Earth will always be home, but I do not think I will see her anytime soon. We take a leap for all humankind, dispersed across the galaxy. Remember us as we travel the stars and her vast emptiness to seek other worlds and life and build new homes for all of us. Remember us, the foolish and the braves. Remember us, the travelers of the stars. Remember us, the humans of Earth.
245, please. Kilo 14 Papa, reduce 180 knots. 80 knots, just 1 Papa.
Hey everybody, welcome to my channel. My name is Lobo. The channel is called ZooPF Visual Effects. For those of you who are new to my channel, if you actually like what you saw the intro video, please like and subscribe. It always helps me make more videos like this. And for those of you who are actually visual effects artists, I hope this tutorial just either take you to the next level or just gonna give you some tricks and trades here and there so that you can go out there and create something even more cool. Alright, that being said, there's a folder we need to download, so make sure you download that folder in the description tab. The folder will contain a folder that has textures and bump maps, and the other folder has my KITBASH that I create in Element 3D and After Effects. Make sure that you download that folder so that we can get this whole entire spaceship here, Jet Sci-Fi Fighter, going. Alright, let's start a new composition, and we're gonna call that Jet Fighter. And keep it at 1080p, 24 frames per second. Click OK. And let's start a new layer, new, solid. Call that Jet Fighter as well. 1080p. Click OK. Click on Effect, Video Copilot, Element, and click on Scene Setup. Now, if you did it properly and you put all the KITBASH under your model folder, it should look something like this. KITBASH and Jet Fighter KITBASH, 39 pieces in there. Mine is under my D drive, Video Copilot, Models, and there it is. My own creation, KITBASH, Jet Fighter. Alright, that being said, let's get to it. I'm going to start with KITBASH Part 17, but first I'm going to create a new folder and just call that folder Jet Fighter Master, as in for master folder. Okay, click on that piece that I just told you guys to click, and the first thing I'm going to do is I am going to click on this icon and make it just a tiny bit thicker. Alright, I'm going to double click on my folder here and I'm going to type in A, and I'm going to click Control D and double click on the folder and type in B. Now what I want to do is I want to bring it up and I want to shrink it down. And what I want to do next is, maybe it's too shrinked, about 75. There you go. And bring it back to try to match that and right there as best as possible, and make sure that the meshes touch. Okay, that looks pretty good. And I'm going to duplicate the first one. I'm going to bring it on top and I'm going to double click on that and type in C. Now what I want to do is I want to bring this down and I want to click on this icon. I'm going to make that thicker than the other two, and just before I move it up, shrink it just a tiny bit. Make sure the meshes touch and bring it back to match as best as I can. Okay, All right, that looks pretty good. All right, that's part of the first part of the body. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is I want to put two pieces back here, and so I'm going to go back to my jet fighter master folder here, and what I actually want to do is create a new folder, double click on that, and call that buddy. What am I typing? All right, and I actually want to bring these three into the body. Okay. All right, so for the next one, I am just going to be using this piece right here, just like that. Okay. So what I want to do now is I want to bring this up so I can see what I'm doing better. I want to shrink it so that it just, first I want to scale it down. Before I do anything, I just want to scale it down and just bring it back. Bring it back right there. Click on this icon so we can see what we're doing better, and just rescale it up just to see what it looks like before we have to do anything else. Okay, now I do want to do more things to it, so I'm going to bring it back a tiny bit, and I'm going to thicken it up just a tiny bit. Alright, so now I'll bring it forward, and what I want to do is just put it right there just like this, and I actually want it to go all the way back. So because I do want it to go all the way back, I'm going to have to make it just a tiny bit longer and just bring it forward. Okay, that looks pretty good. Alright, so let's go and thicken it out. There you go. Just like that. That looks good. That looks good. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to double click on that first, type in A, Control D, and type in B. And I want to click it back on this icon, and I just want to move it over. Alright, so what I want to do now is bring that middle piece here. So I'm going to click on body, and the middle piece that I want is this one here, KITBASH 24. Okay, so what I want to do now is first shrink it down, and I'm going to bring this up, and I'm going to bring it like this. Then I'm going to bring it down, click on this icon so we can see what we're doing. There we go. All right, now that we have that part together, let's go and just bring the engine. So go back to your master file, click on new folder, and we're just gonna call that engines. All right, if I can learn how to spell first, that would be great. And the engine is already right here. This engine was made without this KITBASH, but I just decided to do it, put it together, and just export it as a mesh so that we won't have to spend a whole bunch of time doing that. Okay. Alright, I'm going to click back on this icon. I'm going to shrink it down just a tiny bit, and I'm going to move it to this first piece here. Alright, so that looks pretty cool, and we didn't have to do that much fixing, so I'm happy with that. I'm going to double click on that and just call that 2. Alright, so let's look back. Make sure it's a proper size, which it is, and that looks pretty good. Okay, now let's go back. Let's close this because we don't need that anymore. Let's go back to our master folder, create a new folder, and let's just call that Cockpit. Okay, same thing with the Cockpit. I just decided to put it together so that we won't have to waste time doing that. Okay, shrinking it down, click on this icon. All right. This. Now the cool part is the bottom part pops down like this. Okay, so that looks pretty cool. So then our cockpit will go right there. All right, so I'm just gonna move this, undo it, and just leave it like this. Okay, all right, now I'm gonna bring 2 more pieces and put them right there and at the bottom too. So let's do that right now, and for that I'm gonna go back to my body, And the piece that I want to bring is this one right there. Okay, so I'm gonna move this up, and let's just shrink it down first to see what it looks like. Move it to this side, and let's just bring it down. Boom, just like that. Click this, go like that. Okay, I can see there are a few differences here and there. It can be fixed, but it's a tutorial, and I'll let you guys make sure yours looks really good, as mine doesn't need to. Alright, here we go. Okay, so now let's go ahead and put some wings in. Okay, so for that, go to your master folder, click on a new folder, and we're just gonna call that all wings. We're gonna create two folders in here. One is, we're gonna call that body wings, and the other one we're gonna call it rear wings. Okay, all right, so our body wings, same thing. I already created those for you guys because I didn't want to take the time to put it together here because it would be using too much time of the tutorial. But if you wonder how I did that, I just use this one and that one right there. Okay, and everything is coming from the KITBASH, guys, so it's all in there. Shrinking it down. Okay, that looks pretty good to me. All right, now let's go ahead and work on the rear wings. Rear one, we're gonna need these two here. Okay, so click on that and click on this. So there you go. I'm gonna pivot the gribbles. I'm going to shrink down the gribbles, and then might as well just make that 50. And I'm going to thicken the gribbles so it looks like this. Okay. All right, and then I'm going to move them back as I see fit, and that looks pretty good to me. All right, so rear wings. So let's go ahead and create a new folder, and we'll just call that right. And we're gonna put these two in there like this so that it's easier to move them around. Okay, so I'm gonna shrink it down to match my ship. Maybe I'll say 20. There you go. I'm gonna bring it back, put it right like this, bring it down. All right, not bad, not bad, not bad. Let's go ahead and move on to the weapons. Okay, so back to this. Create a new folder. Make sure you create a new folder and call that weapons. In the weapons, we're gonna create two folders. One is the missiles, and the other one is guns. There you go. So for the missile, same thing. I already put it together for you guys so that we wouldn't have to be spending time on this. I'm just gonna rotate this here and just move it down. Then I'm just gonna shrink it down. So it's the missile launcher and the missiles in there. Okay, so that's pretty cool. So if you're asking yourself, okay, so how are we going to move all the missiles? Very easy, guys. All you have to do is just use the auxiliary channels. Okay, that's how you move the missiles. Alright, that looks about right to me, but I'm sure it's off. No worries. Gun. Okay, before we do the gun, we have to go back to the body, and we have to bring in which one? Where is it? We'll have to bring in this one, and we have to bring in this one. Okay, so I'm gonna bring this, and I'll move it over here, and move it back. And I'm gonna shrink it first, just shrink it down, and then I'll go ahead and go like this. Okay, but before I do anything else, I'm going to also bring this one in, flip it around. And I'm just gonna move that out like that. And I'm gonna go back to this one first. And I'll say 20. So I'll make sure this is 20 as well. And they are both very different, but I just want to match them as best as I can just for right now. Okay, so up. Okay. One, two, three, four. Make sure you click shift and you just click on them. Control D, don't touch anything, move it back to the folder so they're both all on top. And then we're gonna move it over here. Click this icon, click shift and rotate. And then we'll just move them all back in. Alright, saving us time. And that's what we're trying to do here, just save some time. Trying to match it as best as I can, and that looks pretty good. Okay. Okay, once I'm like this, then I'm gonna close them all. And I don't really like that gap, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go back to this one here. Yep, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna click back on this icon and I'm just gonna elongate it that way. So I'm just closing the gaps here, okay? There it is. That took care of that. Alright, now I'm gonna bring my weapon, guns, and it's right here. Once again, I already put it together because I just didn't want to have to spend too much time doing it that way. Instead, I just put it together so that we won't have to worry about that. So first I'm going to shrink it down. Okay, I'm going to bring this back down like this now, okay? Now, the way it works is when this pops up, this is also popping up from this section here, and the only way to do that is just to use the auxiliary channels if you don't want to use group 1, 2, 3, or 4. Okay, so I recommend you just use the auxiliary channels for anything that needs to move and leave the groups for other things. Okay, that looks pretty good. Doesn't have to be perfect, but you also make sure yours look pretty good. Alright, we've got a couple more things here to do. We're going to put 4 fans down there, so I'm going to do that right now. I'm just going to create a new folder in the master folder and call that fans, and the fan is right there. Okay, so once again, I already created that for you guys because it would take way too long to just show you guys how to do it. Once again, all that can be found in the KITBASH. Alright, so I created everything in the KITBASH, so just use the KITBASH to create things that you want. Click on this icon here, and what I want to do is I just want to put it right there. Okay, so there it is right there. Alright, one last thing we need to do is let's put our landing gears. Create a new folder in the master folder, landing gears. There we go. Once again, I already created those gears for you guys, so you wouldn't have to worry about it. Okay, I have a small, that's for the top here, and I have large, and that's for the rear. So I'm gonna click on landing gears, click on that one. Large, I'm gonna fix that right away. Large landing gears, we're gonna say, can't type anything else, so I'm gonna shrink this to L. Large landing gears right. Okay, so I'm just gonna move this over here, and what I want to do is I want to put them right there. Okay, alright, so now let's go and put the front one here, the smaller version. Okay, so now you might be asking yourself, okay, so how does that work? Well, it's pretty simple how it works, really. So what you can do is leave all the gears here, or you can go back to Cockpit and we can create 2 folders. So one, I'll say top, and I'm gonna move this in here, and I'll create a new folder, and I'll just call that bottom, and I'm gonna move this one here. I'm gonna close that. I'm gonna grab my small landing gear. I'm gonna put it right in here. Okay, so watch what happens now. Oops, wrong one. I gotta grab my whole entire bottom folder. There you go. You see how that works? Pretty cool, right? All of this can be it's movable. Everything is movable. Even the gears here are movable. Okay, all you have to do is use the auxiliary channels, and that's pretty much it. Okay, and that's how you can create something pretty cool. All right, and I can see things are off as I'm looking down there, but it's okay. All right, so that takes care of everything here. I just want to click OK. Of course, saving the project. Let's come over here and let's automatically create a new camera, and we're gonna leave it at 35 millimeters. And I want to go back in my scene, and I actually want to go back to my master file, and I want to rotate everything this way. Okay, and what I also want to do is I want to shrink it to 50%. There you go, and I want to click OK. Now it's facing us, but my camera here went on automatic depth of field. I don't want that. Let's click on this icon and let's look at our jet here. There it is. Let's move back a little bit. Let's zoom in. That looks pretty good. We have our fans, we have our landing gears. This landing gear is connected to our cockpit. Cockpit will go right there. All right. Okay, so now just for fun, let's go ahead and create a new light. Keep everything where it's at. Click OK. And now let's go back to our jet fighter, render settings. Let's go to our ambient occlusion, click enable, and let's crank that up to 5. There it is. And let's go to shadows and click enable. There it is. And let's go full 4K and parallel light here. Let's go ahead and crank that up to 2024. Now let's leave that to 20. Yeah, we'll leave it just the way it is here. And yep, I'll crank that up to 8K. And what I want to do now is go to 2 views, and I want to just move my light how I had it in my scene. And so my light in my scene was actually right here like this. Okay, all right, there it is. Now the closer you guys get, you know, the more you'll have shadows in locations that you want to. So it's just a matter of preference where your sun is hitting or where you want things to look. And so for me, you know what, how about I just put it right there. That looks pretty cool right there actually. Let's go back to one view and let's click here. So alright guys, we created this very cool sci-fi jet fighter using the KITBASH that I gave you guys. The next thing we're gonna do is just put some textures and bumps onto that. Alright, so make sure you guys get ready for that. Alright, let's go in and start texturing right now. Let's go back on our scene setup, and let's go ahead and just start with the body first. We're gonna start at the bottom, and let's click this, go to diffuse, load texture, and I need to quickly find mine. Mine is under my tutorial project, tutorial 6, and jet fighter for YouTube, new textures. Let's go and click on this one here, mainframe 1, albedo. Alright, and what I want to do right away is I want to crank the output to about right there. Okay, so let's click zoom in and see what it looks like. Alright, there we go. Why does it look like this? Because we need to unclick that really quick, and there it is right there. Okay, so you guys can always put more sharpened textures on, but these textures, I created these textures in Quixel. Now here's the problem, because in Quixel I actually unwrapped each of these mesh properly. They fit properly and they go exactly where I want them to go, but in these mesh, just because we're putting a texture on it, there are going to be areas where it's going to be stretched and it's not going to look good. But I just want to let you guys know that's the difference between UV unwrapping and actually putting a mesh on this. So I'm actually created this ship for one of my sci-fi film, but I thought I'd give it to you guys too and show you guys how I did it. So in my sci-fi film, the textures are going to look extremely sharp and really well put together with each mesh. Okay, now that I made that clear, you'll see the difference when we get there. Okay, that takes care of that. I want to go to glossiness. Here's that. Let's go and put that on it. And let's go and crank up the glossiness to about 60, and let's take the environment multiplier to about 70. Okay, and it'll give us that look right there. So you want that gloss, but not too much. All right, so I would say maybe we can even go, well, see, even 65 looks best to me. So I'm gonna leave it like that. And for our bump map, let's go in and use this right here. You guys have many different things that you can use. I left that for you guys, but these bump maps also are part of a picture too. And those bump maps were simply, these right here, they're all created in Photoshop, but other bump maps are created in Quixel too. All right, so for this, I can use this one, or I'm gonna use this. So I'm gonna use this one instead. Okay. And I remember where it was at, so it was at 7, and I'm gonna go to my UV repeat here. I'm also gonna say 7. All right, and so that looks like this now. All right, so you have this now, which gives us the illusion that something is popping up. Okay, so I want to crank this up a little bit more. So I'll say, let's say 150. 150 looks about, 150 looks pretty good, but how about we just crank this back down? No, I'll leave this at 7 actually. But oh, see, that's why it was not at, it was looking weird because it was at 70. I accidentally clicked 70. All right, so let's see. Now 7 is about right. I'll just leave it at 7 for now. It doesn't have to be perfect, but you guys can get very detailed with it if you want to. Okay, so that takes care of that. Let's just go and move on to all the other ones. All right, so we are at the engine now. So I went really fast on this. Fast forwarded, of course, but you guys, that's how the ship's supposed to look like. So make sure it looks just like this. Okay. This looks really cool, so make sure it looks just like that. All right, now let's go ahead and do the engines really quick. So for the inner engine, I only use one. Let's go and click on here so we know what we're doing. It was pretty much just one texture for all of it, and it was just this texture right here. Okay, I just use this one right here, or you guys can use this one too. But for the engine, I think I'm gonna use this one, the darker one, because it's the engine. All right, so it's right in there, so we really can't see it, but it's okay. You don't really need to see it. Okay, so that's actually the bright light. My apologies. Let me get this out. The bright light is supposed to be a different color, so let's go down to illumination, and we want to make this red. So let's go here and just crank that up to about I'd say 400, and there it is. And I'll show you what will happen when we click on glow in After Effects. Now here, all right, that's the piece right there now. So this, everything else other than the light, you can use either that one or the other one, just like I told you. Okay, doesn't really matter. All right, so what I want to do then is just put the bump into it, and the bump for that is this one right here. Okay, so wait for it to load. There it is, it's loaded. So these textures are actually pretty big, so make sure that your computer can handle it. And here's our, it's right on it, and as you can see, the scratches are all right there. So I'm just gonna take that down to 50 instead, and of course I'm gonna take the gloss to same thing, 60, and take the environment multiplier to 70. Okay, so that took care of the engines. All right, let's go ahead and work on the cockpit now. So for the cockpit, what I'm going to do is I'm going to shut off the body so I can see things better, and I'm just going to focus on the cockpit itself. Okay, there you go. Now it'll show up. That's much better. Okay, so this piece needs to be this one here. Alright, let's crank this up to 150 and let's see what we can do with that. Okay, and that, just like that. Looks pretty good, so I'm just gonna leave it like this. And this is this piece here, and I want this piece to be this color. Actually, I'm going to go with this instead. There you go. And just take it down to like that. To bump, and it's this one here. 50. Glossiness to 60. Alright, that takes care of that. Okay, now let's go and work on the top part. Top part is on the outside here, so we're gonna use this one right here. Oop, these are the windows. Windows will be dark, and what we'll do is we'll come down to here and we'll just make them 90%. And I'm assuming this is also a window. Yep. So since we're here, might as well do 90% here and go back to our basic settings, take that down to there. That takes care of the windows. Now that is the side, so there it is right there. Take it right there. Let's go to our glossiness, go to our bumps, crank up the bumps right away to 150, 60, multiply to 70. Okay, let's go here. Let's focus, zoom down, see what kind of co-creations we can make, and maybe just leaving it at 1 is all we need. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna leave this at 1 actually, because we don't have to get crazy with that top part. Alright, let's move on to the side. There it is. Just like that. Sorry if I'm moving fast, guys. Please make sure that you pause, fast forward, and forward as you see fit, so that you can see exactly what it is that I'm doing. Kind of like that here. I wonder if we can put some lines here, so let's try that. Actually, we're gonna leave this at 1, and let's just add a whole bunch of lines. That looks pretty cool actually, so I'm gonna leave it just like that. There we go. And we'll never see that piece because it's always covered, but it doesn't matter. Just the fact that you created something on it is pretty much all that counts. See what we're gonna have as creation there. Okay. There we go. That looks pretty good right there for me. Alright, so that takes care of that. Let's just go and take care of a landing gear since we're right there. And the cylinders here is that part here. So for that, we'll just go and use this dark gears here. And one last piece, which is the top part, and that will go back to this one right here. Alright, that takes care of that. Okay, let's take care of the wings really quick. Doesn't matter which one we start with. Okay, let's make sure which is which. These are the real ones. Okay, so we want the gribble to have this effect here. Let's take care of the body wing now. Which is which? Okay, the outside, we want it to be red. Alright, let's go to this one. I'm gonna load this texture here. Let's take care of the guns. The guns, I want to use this one right there. Actually, that's not right. I'm going to clear that and I want to use this instead. Just pure black, no gloss, nothing. Okay. Alright, and then for this part, that's when we'll go use this. Yeah, that texture gets used quite a bit. So for the bump map, I'm going to use this. Nope, that's not the one. This is the one. Okay, and you want to crank this up quite high. There you go. Okay. And for the middle piece, you want to use this one still. And for the bump, then we'll use this. And same thing, we want to crank it up pretty high. There you go. And I'm even going to go here and do 350. There. They really pop up. The glossiness, I'll take it down to 60. By multiplier, same thing. And I'll do the same thing for this one. Don't want it to be too shiny. Alright, and the last piece, that's the piece that you want to use this. Now we're going to take care of the missiles down there. So I gotta make sure to see which is which. Okay, that's the body. Rans, it's supposed to be fans. Alright, let's take care of the fans. Alright guys, so once we're here, all we have to do next is just click back on body, and a whole entire body will come back and we'll have a whole entire ship textured. So I do apologize if I fast forward through this whole entire part. Once I showed you how to do the first few parts, it's all the same for all the other parts, and it's just a matter of you deciding what it is that you want that will look best for you. Okay, so let's click on body and see what happens. Boom, there it is. Here's our ship, and it looks exactly, well, it looks different from mine of course, but this one looks so much beefier. It's like, okay, this one was totally meant for war. So it looks really cool. Alright, so that's what it looks like. Let's take it back to After Effects, and let's see the magic happen. Boom, just like that. Looks super cool, guys. Alright, so let's go and grab a camera really quick and see what we got going on here. Make sure you guys save. Always save. You have to save. Try again. See, much better. All I had to do is just purge a few things. Alright, so that's what it looks like. Pretty cool, guys, pretty cool. Okay guys, so check this out. Out of my KITBASH that I created in Element 3D and After Effects, we were able to create this very cool sci-fi jet fighter here that looks super beefy. We also were able to create a cockpit that does go up and down, and even the gears go up and down, and even the fans do spin, and the missiles can come out of the missile launchers, and even the guns can come out of its protection shells. So guys, this is really cool, and the next step would just be to put the cockpit in there, but because we are running out of time, if you guys did watch part 1 of this 3-part series, all you guys have to do is put the cockpit right in here, angle it properly, and when it goes up, it'll just pop up right there. Okay, super cool. Alright guys, if you guys like this tutorial, you guys know what to do. 2 thumbs up, and please subscribe to my channel. It really helps me make more tutorials like this for you guys. And of course, if you guys thought it wasn't as great as you wish it could have been, you guys can also just, you know, thumbs down. There's nothing wrong with that. But that being said, thank you so much for having taken the time to watch the tutorial. This was actually a shorter tutorial, so I'm really proud of myself. That being said, you have been part of my Zoo PF Visual Effects channel. My name is Lobo, and I will see you guys next time. Bye bye now.